Welcome everyone to the second course. So to begin with, for Vikas, I'll quickly go through what we discussed yesterday. We discussed some basic probability for the coin. When we roll the dice, what is the probability of getting 1? What is the probability of getting 2? So on. And then if we have a pack of cards, what is the probability of getting 2 jacks? What is the probability of getting 2 A's? Or what is the probability of getting 1 A? Something like that, some basic probabilities. Because machine learning is a course which is built on mathematics and statistics. Okay, we have also discussed yesterday that we would have a lot of data which is considered as population, and then we take a subset of that which is called as a sample using some sampling techniques, and those sampling techniques are mentioned here. So we can either go with probability sampling methods or non-probability sampling methods, but in general we go with probability sampling methods because those will be non-biased. So we apply some sampling techniques, we come up with some sample, we do some analysis which is called as descriptive sampling or descriptive analysis, and then from the results what we get from the sample we try to infer about the population. So this is called as inferential statistic, right? So for example, if there is a locality where say 500 houses are there, and I don't want to do the survey on all 500 houses, then I'll take the sample of say 50 houses and then I will check. So all the 50 houses, say assume all of them, all the people in those 50 houses are IT engineers or mechanical engineers. So I've taken a sample, I've done the analysis on sample, and then I came to know that all the 50 houses are being resident by mechanical engineers. And then we can infer the same for the complete locality, saying that the most of the people staying in this locality are mechanical engineers. So this is called as inferential statistics, right? And then I have explained mean and variance for population and sample. Okay, I have also asked some questions on this. So what I want now, let's go to the next slide first and then I will have the interactive session. But first let's go to the next slide so that Vikas is also on the same page along with us. So a random variable, what is random variable? That it's a variable for which there is a chance of coming in. There is some chance associated with that, right? So for example, I'm tossing a coin 5 times, and for me, x is a random variable which tells number of times we receive head. Then x can take the value of 0, that means 0 heads or no heads. X can take a value of 1, x can take the value of 2, x can take the value of 3, 4 and 5, right? Something like that. So similarly, this random variable can be divided into two, which is discrete random variable and continuous random variable. So for discrete, I've given the example of number of people entering into the store, number of cars in the garage. So I can have 1 car, 2 car. I cannot have 1.5 car or 2.5 car, right? So that means whenever the decimal point is not making sense out of that number for that particular example, then it is called discrete random variable. And when decimal point making some sense, then it is called continuous random variable, right? For example, salary, height of a person, weight of a person, something like this. Okay, the temperature measurement is continuous random variable, right? Because temperature can take 30 degrees, 30.5 degrees, 40 degrees, 40.25 degrees. Pressure, velocity, all these parameters are continuous random variable, right? So can you guys tell me if stress is a continuous random variable or discrete random variable? Not the English word stress, the word stress which is of mechanical terms. Okay, so could you please tell me? Continuous, right? Great. So now, okay, so this is the important session I wanted to discuss before going into the next session, because I will not be telling the answer here, but I'll be taking 5 minutes out of it and we'll be discussing, not me in particular, I would say you guys have to type the answer. I would not say whether it is right or wrong now, but I want to see your answers. Okay, so that I just want to make sure if you guys are trying or not, at least you're going back to your school days and then reading something about statistics or not. Okay, so what is the answer for first question, guys? Quickly, we have 5 minutes. We have 6 questions to cover. I will not be judging whether the answer is correct or wrong. You guys have to tell your answer just to make sure that you're working on it, and so that by your idea others can also get the idea if they are not working on it. It's important that we are spreading the knowledge among ourselves, right? Maybe I might be having a different reason for this, you might be having a different reason, so we are educating ourselves, right? So it's better, can you please everyone write in one statement answer in the chat box why there is a difference in the formula of variance for population and sample. Okay, answering second question. But for first one, due to difference in the denominator value, there is a difference. Yes, but why there is a denominator? Why there is a difference in the denominator? That's a question, right? Why there is a difference in the formula? That's the question. See, that's what I told yesterday, guys. Remember, I am not particular about the formulas. I am particular about the significance of each parameter. Why there is a change in formula? Okay, I got an answer. I got slightly better answer from Jayaram. Okay, so good. Some of you have answered, or some of you have answered at least. You have tried for it. I'm really thankful. For the second one, mentioned that, right. So Sarsha has also mentioned something about second question. Great. So it's good that you guys are trying. But now I want to know. Third one is interesting for me. How many different samples can be created out of a population of size n? Could you please give a try for this? Let's go one by one. What could be the answer for third one? N factorial? Let's think in this way, guys. For example, I have a population of say 1, 2, 3 and 4. How many samples I can create out of this? This is 1, this is 2, this is one more, this is one more. Similarly, so shall I write 2 comma 1? No, right? Because that's not a distinct sample, right? So I don't want to write anyways here, but there are so many samples which we can come up with from. Say for example, if I have 3, which is simple to write, so let me write it for 3 quickly. If this is my population, the sample would be this one will not be there, right? So there is no 4 here. And then, so I think you got the answer now, how many different samples I can come up with one particular population. So if I have n elements in a sample, then how many populations can it form? Right, so the answer I would say, yes, 2 comma 1 is not possible, Harsha, yes. 8 samples for 3. Okay, now there is a twist here. If you are considering a null set or empty set as a sample, then you would have 8, right? If you're not considering null set, then the answer would be 7 samples, right? But it depends what if you're considering or not considering, it's up to you. But for n, someone has already given the right answer, so you can think now you got the different answers. I want you guys to work on it and come up with the right answer. For the fourth one, what is the probability of drawing 2 jack from a pack of cards, guys? Is it 2 by 13? So the pack of card will always have 52 cards, guys. So I would say please go back and read the stuff from the probability from your school books. It's important because to understand machine learning in a depth knowledge, it's important that we know the basics, right? It's very important, guys. Okay, so I think there are different answers from different guys, but I want you guys to work on it now. Fifth one, what is the probability that both the numbers are on dice are same while rolling 2 dice? Fifth one would be pretty simple for everyone. What could be the answer for fifth one? Everyone knows the answer for fifth one, right? And now, why standard deviation when variance can measure the dispersion, which I've already discussed yesterday. So let's get started. Again, before going into the second week of course, I wanted to ask, did you guys try to work on that puzzle also? Because it's important, guys, for logical thinking, for problem, for structured thinking, it's important that you should solve the puzzles. So do work. Yes, chess puzzle. What is the answer for the chess puzzle? Right, it's 204. That's the right answer. So I hope everyone is working on the puzzle. Okay, so how many squares are there in a chessboard? Simple question. Okay, so before going ahead, do you all have now Python, Visual Studio, or any other interface of Python? Did you all install it? Great. So let's get started with some Python, because before going into the second week of course, I want to make sure that we have done some basics of Python, right? Okay, so let's make a list of vector, for example. So for example, I have a vector of x or list, something like this. If I want to print x, let's notice what do we get. So you notice that we are getting x as 1356, right? Now, if I want to say print x of 2, we understand 2, right? 2 is the index now. So we have x based on the index value will come of this, it will print the value of x of 2. So can everyone write their answer? What could be the answer when I print this x of 2? Okay, someone has written 5. Great. So that's the right answer. So let me save this first. My output is on the bottom. You can check it. So I'm running it. So it has printed 5, right? So now what we understood from here is, if I write x of 2, I'm getting 5. If I write x of 1, it will be 3. If I write x of 0, it will be 1. So that's important. Python always start the index from 0. That's an important. Okay, so let me quickly go with some more questions. So column means 1 to 3, and 1 to 3 are index. So not numerical 2, English 2, TO2. So 1 to 3. So now what will this print, everyone? So it will print 356. According to me, it will print only 3 and 5. I'll tell you why. But first, let's print the output. You can see it's only printing 3 and 5. So always remember, Python will always exclude the last number from this. That's how the Python has been built. Okay. So it will always, this function colon has built in such a way that it always excludes the last number. So from 1 to 3, which is 1, 2, 3, it is excluding 3. So now it has only 1 and 2. So for 1, we know that for index 1, the value is 3. For index 2, the value is 5, right? So I want you to play around, guys. Please play around in Python. It's important, okay? We cannot avoid Python because a lot of organization ask for Python, okay? So let me quickly erase this now and let's do some complicated, I would not say complicated, some new code, but those are also very simple if you can understand it. Okay, let me write x equal to 0. If x is equal to 0, print Mercedes, else print BMW. So guys, quickly tell me what it will print now. If I run this code, what it will print? Mercedes, right? It's important. The important thing which we should know is, for any conditional loops means if else. If you want to write some more else, then you have to write, say, else if, for example, if x equal to 1, print Porsche, or let's say Hyundai. Now, so the important thing which we have to understand here is, every conditional statement ends with colon, right? And then what we want to specify within that condition loop will start with some space. It will start with after giving some space, and that space is called indentation. It's an interview question. What is indentation? Okay, and what is its importance? So if you remember from your college days, we used to give curly brackets. If you want to write any loop, conditional loop or for loop, we used to write between the flower brackets. So it used to create a lot of confusion. If you remember, we have so many loops, for example, then we have to open so many loops, right? Then we will get confused with this. Instead, by giving this indentation, it will be organized in a better way. We will understand this code in a better way. We will able to debug the code in a better way. Okay. So now tell me what it will print, guys, for this one. For x equal to 1, what it will print? Right. So see, the point is, if I write, say, x equal to 100, then BMW, right? Now, for example, if I write y equal to 100, then what it will print? Right, x is not defined. See guys, so it's important that every one of you know coding. It's just that we are scared of coding, right? So you don't have to be scared of coding. We know how to code. See, no one will ask the syntax, okay? No one will ask the syntax. Everyone will ask you the logic. So you know coding. It's just that we won't be able to recollect the syntax. You don't have to worry for that. We can always surf on internet for the syntax. See, I also cannot remember all the syntax. It's no one can remember that, right? Why is it not printing? How will it print? Because the condition is for x, right? So if condition is for x, right? So when the condition is based on x, it will check for only x for all the three conditional loops. It will not check for y. Got it? I think if you can see, the output is here in my machine. The reason, there could be several reasons that you're not able to see the output, because you might not have opened your terminal window on the bottom, which you have to do that, or there could be that is done. Okay, then you might not be in the right path. See where you're saving this file, that is important. If you're saving this test.py file in say location Naga, then you should go into the folder Naga. Here it should be Naga, and then you should run the code by Python, and then Python file name, which is test.py. Making sense? So to want to clarify this further more, let's do one thing. Now if you notice, you will get the output. Okay, now tell me what could be the output in this case. What could be the output, guys? See, I am writing here or, right? Or means this or this, this or this. So if x is equal to 1 or y is equal to 1, then it should print this. So it's or, it's not and, right? So it will print Hyundai in this case, if I'm not wrong, right? The reason here we have mentioned or means any one of them should be true. Okay, so in this case, with this value, this one is true, right? This conditional loop is true, right? If both of them are true, then also the answer will be same. For example, this one. Now you must be thinking, what if it's x equal to 1 and y equal to 0? Then this is a critical stage, because it follows both two conditional loops, but it is giving Mercedes 1. Okay, because the reason, it goes step by step, right? So first it takes x equal to 1 and then y equal to 0, and then it goes into if. In if, it will check whether x is equal to 0 or y is equal to 0, and it comes to know yes, y is equal to 0, then it will straight away print Mercedes. So this was critical. Okay, so sometimes this will also be your interview question. Now if I write and, that is important. And means both the conditions should be true. Okay, both the conditions should be true. Now in this case, tell me what could be the answer. So it should be BMW, right? Because both should be true. But for if only one is true, the other one is false. So if both of them true, then only it will enter this if. Here also only one is true, so it will not enter into this. So it will go into else condition, and then it will print BMW. Making sense? So far so good, guys. So we are able to understand the code. We are able to debug the code. It's just that how to write the code, right? So don't worry, the syntax are very simple. If you're not able to remember the syntax, go to the internet, check for the syntax. Simple, guys. So don't be scared of coding. It's very simple. And when it comes to machine learning or data science, the coding is further simpler. You're not going for a software developer job. You're going for a data scientist job, which requires or mathematical coding only. So which is very simple. Start practicing. For example, let me now let's use for I. This is the syntax for loop. You remember for loop, everyone, from your college days? For I in range of 0, 100. Let me take simple one, 5. Okay, print x and then increase x by x plus 1. Okay,